But the even bigger issue with the varicocele is actually the heat that it can cause. When blood is pooling, blood is warm, right? And we know from our previous podcast episode, Hot Balls, which is episode number 101, and I'll link that one below if you haven't listened to it. I highly recommend it because the research on how heat impacts sperm is fascinating. And I found some really cool studies. And this is one of those areas that can just heat up the scrotum. And if there's excessive, I say excessive loosely because the temperature gradient change isn't that high, which is crazy. I'm talking like 1 degree Celsius can negatively impact sperm. And when we're looking at the heat exposure and short periods of time, that's a problem. When we're talking about a varicocele, we're talking about continuous excessive, AKA 1 degree, but excessive heat exposure all the time. It doesn't go away because it's always there. Now heat's becoming an even more bigger problem. One of the areas it's so funny I'm recording this today because we did actually talk about heat inside our FCM office hours a few different times for clients today. And I haven't personally seen any research or data on could icing the testicles without doing the varicocele surgery, but could icing have a positive impact? I haven't seen it in terms of data. I think it would be an interesting study for them to run. And we know that cooling off the testicles does make a difference. So I think that would be worthwhile to talk about. But when we have too much heat in the scrotum, and again, go and listen to episode 101, just get more detail, but we're going to see lower sperm counts, lower motility, and more sperm DNA damage. So higher levels of DNA fragmentation, which we do not see this number on a standard semen analysis. A semen analysis is looking at how many are there, how well do they swim, and what do they look like on the outside? Whereas DNA fragmentation looks at what are they looking like genetically on the inside. They can be a perfect sperm and you can have lots of them, but if they all are a good, let's say 30% of them are actually shit genetically on the inside, they're not going to do anything for you. So that DNA fragmentation, that's a really big piece that they just don't test for off the bat, but we probably should be. Knowing how male factor fertility is declining, this is something that we should likely look into sooner rather than later.